Whey protein shakes. Whey protein is the undisputed king of the protein drink world. It comes from milk, specifically it's the liquid byproduct left over after cheese is made. For centuries, cheesemakers threw it away. Then in the 1950s, scientists discovered it was loaded with essential amino acids. By the 1980s, bodybuilders were chugging it. Today it's a $10 billion global industry. Here's how it's made. Milk gets separated into curds and whey. The whey liquid is filtered, pasteurized, and spray-dried into a fine powder. There are three versions: concentrate, which retains some fat and lactose; isolate, which is stripped down to 90% pure protein; and hydrolysate, which is pre-digested for the fastest absorption of all three. Whey digests in roughly 20 minutes, making it the fastest absorbing protein on the market. That's why athletes drink it immediately after training. The muscles are like a sponge in that window. Flavor-wise, whey blends smoothly, tastes milky and mild, and mixes well with almost anything. Chocolate and vanilla dominate American sales. The surprising fact: the same liquid that gets turned into your $60 tub of whey protein used to be pumped directly into rivers by dairy farms as waste, until the 1970s, when the EPA forced them to stop because it was suffocating aquatic ecosystems. Casein protein shakes. Casein is whey's slower, quieter sibling, and it's been inside your body longer than you think. About 80% of the protein in cow's milk is casein. When you were an infant drinking breast milk, casein was one of the first proteins your body ever processed. Casein is made by separating milk proteins using acid or enzymes, then drying them into powder. What makes casein unique is how it behaves in your stomach. It forms a thick gel when it hits stomach acid, releasing amino acids slowly over 5 to 7 hours. Compare that to whey's 20-minute rush. Casein is a slow drip versus a flood. That makes casein the go-to protein drink before bed. While you sleep, your muscles are actually rebuilding, and casein keeps feeding them through the night. The texture in a shake is noticeably thicker and creamier than whey. Some people love it, some find it too heavy. Chocolate casein is particularly popular because the thick texture mimics a milkshake. The surprising fact: a 2012 study published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise found that athletes who drank casein right before sleep gained significantly more muscle than those who didn't, essentially proving you can build muscle while doing absolutely nothing. Plant-based protein drinks. Plant-based protein drinks went from niche health food store products to mainstream grocery staples in under a decade. In 2012, the plant-based protein market was worth about $2 billion. By 2023, it crossed $16 billion. The shift was driven by veganism, lactose intolerance, and a growing group of consumers who simply want to reduce animal products. The most common sources are pea protein, brown rice protein, soy protein, and hemp protein. Pea protein, extracted from yellow split peas, now dominates the category because it has a near-complete amino acid profile and blends better than most other plant sources. To get a complete protein, most brands combine 2 or more plant sources, since individual plant proteins are typically incomplete on their own. Flavor and texture vary massively by source. Soy is the smoothest and closest to whey in texture. Pea protein has a slight earthy, almost beany taste that brands work hard to mask. Hemp has a nutty flavor that divides opinions. The mouthfeel of plant-based drinks tends to be grainier than dairy-based options, though modern processing has closed that gap significantly. The surprising fact: soy protein was first commercially isolated in the United States in 1936 by the Glidden Company, originally to be used in industrial products like paint and adhesives, not food. Ready-to-drink protein shakes (RTDs). Ready-to-drink protein shakes, the pre-mixed bottles and cans you grab at a gas station or gym, didn't exist in any meaningful commercial sense before the late 1990s. EAS launched Myoplex RTD around 1998, and Muscle Milk followed in 2000. They changed the game by removing the one friction point in the protein market: preparation. RTDs are made by blending protein powder with water, milk, or a milk alternative, then adding stabilizers, emulsifiers, and preservatives to give them a shelf life of 12 to 18 months without refrigeration. The process involves ultra-high temperature pasteurization, heating the liquid to around 280 degrees F for just a few seconds, which kills bacteria without destroying the protein structure. The convenience premium is real. A single RTD shake costs $3 to $5 on average. The equivalent serving made from a tub of powder costs under $1. Americans pay the markup gladly. RTDs are now the fastest-growing segment of the entire sports nutrition category. Flavor options have exploded: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cookies and cream, salted caramel, birthday cake. Brands compete fiercely on taste because the functional benefits between products are nearly identical. The surprising fact: Fairlife Core Power, one of America's top-selling RTD shakes, uses a cold ultrafiltration process on real milk that concentrates the protein while removing most of the sugar, meaning it has more protein and less sugar than regular milk using only one ingredient. Collagen protein drinks. Collagen protein drinks are the newest major category and the most polarizing among fitness scientists. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. It holds together your skin, joints, tendons, and bones. By your mid-20s, your body starts producing less of it every year. The supplement industry spotted that fact and built a billion-dollar category around it. Collagen protein is made by boiling animal connective tissue, usually bovine hides, fish scales, or chicken cartilage, then hydrolyzing the collagen into smaller peptides that dissolve easily in liquid. Marine collagen, sourced from fish, has become especially popular because its peptides are smaller and may absorb slightly faster. The major catch, and the reason sports nutritionists debate it, is that collagen is an incomplete protein. It's missing tryptophan, one of the essential amino acids. It won't build muscle the way whey or casein does. What it does do, according to a 2019 study in the British Journal of Nutrition, is support joint recovery and skin elasticity when consumed alongside vitamin C. Collagen drinks are typically unflavored or lightly flavored and dissolve in hot or cold liquids without clumping. The texture is almost completely neutral, which makes it easy to mix into coffee, juice, or smoothies invisibly. The surprising fact: Jell-O is essentially degraded collagen. The gelatin used to make it is chemically almost identical to hydrolyzed collagen powder, just less processed. Meal replacement protein shakes. Meal replacement shakes were born out of the diet industry, not the fitness industry. SlimFast launched in 1977 and became a cultural phenomenon through the 1980s with its famous tagline, "A shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, then a sensible dinner." It was the first product to mass-market the idea of drinking your calories intentionally. Modern meal replacements are a different category entirely. Instead of just protein, they're engineered to replace a complete meal, including carbohydrates, fats, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Brands like Huel, Soylent, and Kachava have turned this into a tech-forward category, appealing to productivity-focused consumers who see eating as a problem to optimize. The protein in meal replacements typically comes from a blend of sources, often a mix of whey, pea, and brown rice, to cover a complete amino acid profile. They're thicker, more calorie-dense, and more filling than a standard protein shake. A typical serving runs 400 calories versus 120 to 150 in a protein shake. Culturally, meal replacement shakes have become embedded in Silicon Valley productivity culture. Soylent, named after the 1973 science fiction film Soylent Green, was literally invented in 2013 by a software engineer who wanted to stop wasting time on food. The surprising fact: NASA has been developing meal replacement formulations for astronauts since the 1960s, decades before the commercial market existed. Many of the fortification techniques used in modern shakes trace directly back to space nutrition research. Kefir and fermented protein drinks. Kefir is one of the oldest protein drinks on Earth, and most Americans had never heard of it before the 2010s. It originated over 2,000 years ago in the Caucasus Mountains, the region between Russia, Georgia, and Turkey. Local herders discovered that milk stored in leather pouches would ferment into a tangy, slightly fizzy drink that kept longer than fresh milk and made people feel noticeably better. Kefir is made by adding kefir grains, a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, directly to milk and letting it ferment for 24 to 48 hours at room temperature. The result is a drinkable, pourable product with around 9 to 11 grams of protein per cup, plus billions of live probiotic cultures that regular protein shakes simply don't have. The texture is thinner than yogurt but thicker than milk, with a tart, tangy flavor that takes some adjustment if you're used to sweet American protein drinks. Water kefir, a dairy-free version fermented with sugar water, has grown significantly in the US among people who are lactose intolerant. What sets kefir apart from every other protein drink is the gut health angle. It contains upwards of 30 distinct strains of beneficial bacteria and yeast, compared to 1 to 3 strains in most probiotic supplements. The surprising fact: research published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found. Clear whey protein drinks. Clear whey protein drinks are the newest visual innovation in the protein category, and they look nothing like what you'd expect. Instead of a thick, opaque, milky shake, clear whey looks exactly like fruit juice or a sports drink, fully transparent, brightly colored, and thin as water. Clear whey uses whey protein isolate, the most heavily filtered form of whey, processed at a low pH to make it acid-stable and water-soluble. When mixed with water and flavored with fruit acids, the result is a drink that's visually and texturally indistinguishable from a glass of lemonade or fruit punch, but delivers 20 to 25 grams of protein per serving. The category exploded in the UK around 2020 and reached American shelves by 2022. It solves a specific consumer problem: protein fatigue. Many regular protein drink users report growing tired of thick, dairy-heavy shakes, especially in summer or post-cardio when a heavy drink feels unpleasant. Flavors lean hard into fruit, lemonade, peach tea, watermelon, orange, tropical punch. The protein taste is almost undetectable, which makes clear whey approachable for people who dislike the taste of traditional protein shakes. The surprising fact, despite looking like a sports drink, a single serving of clear whey protein contains more protein than 3 large eggs with 0 fat, 0 sugar, and under 100 calories.